The Spanish announce table.
343rd time we have met for the Spanish announce table proper. And hot damn, what a crazy week of professional wrestling that we had. Tom, we're going to get into all of it. It was
Tim, there is way too much to talk about right now. We've got so much stuff. We've got AEW, of course. We've got some WWE fun stuff because I went to Monday Night Raw, which, spoiler, wasn't great. Then we got some GCW to talk about again. Again, we had a friend of the show, Kevin Gill, on a couple weeks ago. Now we had GCW Homecoming Night 1, which was incredible. Night 2 was good too, but I think the highlight was Night 1, the main event, which we'll get into in a little bit. But oh my goodness. But before we get to all that, Tim, we got to get an update. What is that coin looking like?
Tom, I'm happy to announce you can keep those high spirits because we are headed, and you can jot this down if you need for further reference later, future reference. We are headed to the moon, baby. That MJF coin is up 60% from last week. We're still down 71% overall. We're still, you know what I mean? But
look,
hey, you know. But look, 60% this week. That means we're back up, man. It's going back up, and it's going where?
Yeah.
Where's it going? To the moon, baby.
To the moon.
We're going to be rich. MJF is going to make us rich.
Yeah, and don't let the details get in the way of a good story. We're 60% up, okay? Don't fucking worry about all that other shit. 60% up. There you go. That's all you got to know.
That's
MJF,
all I aim for.
Thank you so much for making us rich.
I aim to get 60% up.
Yep, there it is.
That's all you're going to get from me.
All aspects of life.
That's all you're going to get from me.
So again, MJF, thank you so much for getting us rich. We appreciate you. Salute to you, my friend.
MJF, not only a great storyteller, as we'll discuss here in short order, a man of the people, a man for the working man.
Salt of the earth, as some may say, some being himself. He calls himself salt of the earth. But hey.
Before we get into that, I want to announce we are drinking some beers, and that's due to our beer sponsor of the week, our goddamn selves. Because nobody gave us any money, and you could give us some money and be the beer sponsor of the week if you head to SpanishAnnounceTable.net, but nobody did that, so we had to do it our goddamn selves. And I mean, it is tasty beer, and we are great people, but we would like to tell people how great you are by donating to us and being the beer sponsor of the week. So SpanishAnnounceTable.net, donate us a beer's amount worth of money, and we'll take it from there.
Hey, so let's get into this crazy week of pro wrestling, and let's kick it off with our favorite show, AEW Dynamite specifically, and let's kick it off with a pay-per-view quality match to start the show. We had a 10-man elimination tag team match between Hangman Adam Page and the Dark Order taking on the Elite. Now, before we even get to the matches, both crews here had special entrances.
Yes.
Now, one was tongue-in-cheek, which very much fit for who they are. And another one was very pull on your heartstrings. Anyone can overcome the odds in Hangman and Dark Order. So, Tim, before we even get to your match thoughts, what did you think of these entrances?
The entrances were great. So not only like what you mentioned, one was tongue-in-cheek, and they are the Goon Squad, and it's timely. And he says, like Excalibur said, in a great piece of corporate synergy, you know, like advertise the damn movie. Even it's great because it also speaks to they take everything as a joke, right? Here's the Dark Order. They're giving it everything they've got for their last shot at this, right? And everybody's behind them, and they're like literally for the you know, the outcasts of society. And here's the cool kids just making fun of everything, you know? Like I loved all of it. And yes, that Hangman opening with the Dark Order, just I wanted to be back there with a purple scarf and being like, I'm here, guys. I'm here to help. I'm ready to fight. I'm here for you.
I found myself having so much fun right from the jump that I caught myself, and I kid you not, this is a shoot, when Hangman and the Dark Order got to the apron, and then you had that second row of Dark Order on the floor, and they all went with the Dark Order hand signal. Yeah. I also did it with them. I don't know why. I just got caught up in the moment, but I was like, what am I doing? Like, I'm an adult in my own home, and here I am doing hand signals with pro wrestlers. But I did.
But that's what wrestling is. I mean, that's akin to the Too Sweet because it's something organic. Like, you felt it. You're like,
yeah, I'm gonna do it right here.
And Hangman did his thing, whatever his thing. Does he do the horn?
He does this.
Oh, he does this. It's the guns up, right?
Guns up.
Guns up.
So, which was very cool because he still kept true to himself. Because I honestly thought as they lined up,
I was like, this is it. I was like, he's the leader. Right. I thought it was.
Right. But no, he still stayed true to his Hangman cowboy persona. And then the rest of the Dark Order did their hand signal. Now, on the flip side, you had the Space Jam Elite entrance. And again, corporate synergy. It's the TNT property. TNT's owned by Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers Media also owns HBO. HBO is who made Space Jam 2. So there's the whole corporate synergy tie-ins there. Side note, Space Jam 2, pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I'm sure it wasn't terrible.
So let's get into this. We had an elimination tag. We won't go through how each person got eliminated, but let's just jump to the finish. We had the Elite, which was Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. 3 taking on the one, Cowboy himself, hashtag Cowboy shit, Hangman Adam Page. What did you think of the finish of this match?
I was shocked. I mean, I'm not necessarily shocked. I just really thought too easy, right? Like now, I'm glad they didn't. We're going to get more storytelling as it happened. I processed it pretty quickly, but because I think you even floated the idea last week. But it was so hot, and I've said you got to strike while the iron's hot, and I think they will. I think we're getting there. I think it's going to be at All Out. Hangman, right, rides off as champ, white horse, Dark Order leading the way. But yeah, I mean, good. It's good for that, right? What I thought was going to happen didn't, and that's a good swerve. And here we go, more story.
Well, and what I liked about it is how it was set up. You had your champions look strong while you still had the contender look good. Because one thing that just defeats the whole best tag team in the division and heavyweight champion is if the 3 of them were to lose to one guy. That is classic WWE since the 80s, where Hogan would be the one survivor, and I'm making all of this up, but it's the Hart Foundation and champion Macho Man, and it's 3-on-1, and then Hogan overcomes the odds. John Cena, if you recall, one of the dumbest matches in WWE history, it was John Cena and Randy Orton, and I believe they beat 22 other wrestlers in one match. It was like a gauntlet elimination tag match. One of the dumber things in the world. They used to do that with Roman Reigns, would overcome and all of that. So it was a good, you know what? This isn't that place. This isn't superheroes every time you get a match where the baby face is the underdog. This is a legitimate, no, these 3 guys are really good. So they would make sense that they would beat this one wrestler. So I was very sad that Hangman lost. Got a little depressed, but again, I was excited that, hey, we got some more story to tell here. I do think they're not giving up on the Hangman versus Kenny Omega at All Out. I think that is where we're headed. I am interested, though, where we go with the tag team, because I don't think that the Dark Order are going to get their shot at the Young Bucks at All Out. So I'm curious to see what avenue that they take getting into one of their bigger shows of the year. So that's going to be interesting to see how the tag team division folds out. But very excited, a little depressed, but hopeful for the future. Now, after
the
Hangman,
match,
we go.
God damn it. Hangman.
Right here. Hangman.
Guns up.
Well,
bottoms up and guns up, baby.
Well, maybe get a background check before you guns up. But anyhow, backstage, we had Marvez talking to Pac.
But anyway, right.
Yeah.
Finger guns up.
We had Marvez. Finger guns all day. But we had Marvez talking to Pac. And Pac was saying, hey, Lucha Bros were supposed to be here, and isn't it coincidental that they got stuck at the airport because their car got canceled? And as soon as he says that, we have Andrade with Chavo Guerrero going, hey, you can't take care of your friends? Don't worry. We got a limo, and we got the Lucha Bros being picked up by us. So it's on us, Pac. Don't you worry about it. Everything's good. Chill out. And you could just tell the tension right there is just boiling to some type of match. We're going to get Andrade versus Pac, which sign me up, especially as an opener for an all-out pay-per-view. Oh, so good. So it was pretty good. Now, as we move on, We get back into the ring, and we have the Ricky Starks FTW celebration band all around. Taz looked like he was a DJ for a set at Mosaic or something.
DJ Taz, baby. Taz does whatever the fuck Taz wants to do. You gonna tell him no?
No.
Yeah,
I'm not telling him nothing.
definitely not.
Yeah, no.
I'm telling you sound great, DJ Taz.
Yeah, keep playing those tunes.
Yeah.
Play Freebird again. I don't give a shit.
Scratching them.
No,
records?
he ain't scratching. He's playing all the.
Yeah, it's all digital anyway. These days. Get with it.
Well, and he's playing all the old stuff anyhow. He's an old guy. He ain't playing new stuff.
No. Hey, don't discredit DJ Taz. He's street.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. He is street, but we'll see what he plays. Maybe in the
not
future.
personally like it. You may be like, I don't give a fuck if you guys like it. You're gonna you're not leaving until you fucking dance. And I'm playing Merle Haggard. I don't give a shit.
Right. So this segment a little bit, it felt like they had something in mind, but then didn't have a finish in mind, and we didn't really get much. It was fine. Brian Cage comes out. He puts someone in a drum, and then he breaks the trombone. Little tongue-in-cheek comment by Jim Ross where he says trombones aren't meant to be in pro wrestling. And then if you're following on the Twitter timeline, you get Xavier Woods taking pictures with his trombones in the shower or wherever he was. So that was a little fun tongue-in-cheek there that they're having a little back and forth with. But yeah, I don't know where we're going. I mean, I think we're going to get Brian Cage versus Ricky Starks, but what did you think of this segment?
I think you're right. The story is that Ricky Starks did the swerve, and he's now Team Taz. Brian Cage is gone, and so I feel like they feel they've got to get through the obligatory I'm getting my revenge. Then the best way for this is Cage gets his match with Starks. He doesn't even want, like, they're like, you don't get the title. He's like, I don't give a shit. I just want to beat your ass. I don't want that stupid title. Beats his ass, is out, moves on to something else, and then they go around still being heels, and everybody's like, man, fuck these guys, right? And they're like, oh, fuck us, right? And then they, you know what I mean? It's just new person. Like, let's cut this clean. Let's let Cage get over and be out.
Yeah. I think it could have been told a little bit better of why they kicked out Brian Cage. We do this a lot where it's like, we kicked out Brian Cage. Who cares? We're celebrating. And it's like, well, give us some reasons. What was the beef? Is he arrogant in your opinion, or whatever it is?
Does
I think
he smell
that would have been
bad?
a little bit more interesting. Yeah.
Was he sliding into your girl's DMs? Like, what's up?
Yeah, I want to know a little bit more of the reasoning behind it, and hopefully we
and
get
let it
that.
be a dumb reason. Let it be a reason that you would hate somebody for being mad at him and be like, that means you beat him up? Like that because he puts his milk in the bowl before a cereal? Like, just give us something, anything.
Yeah. Well,
right?
You should get your ass kicked for that.
Right, yeah, that's true. That's a bad example, maybe. That would work for a face tactic. But.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. So, again, Brian Cage beats up the band and then chases off Ricky Starks. After that, we had commentary says that Tony Khan has opened the forbidden door, and they introduce a video package where Tanahashi says, hey, I've won everything in New Japan except for this IWGP US title. So you know what, motherfuckers? I got next. And that's fun, right? That's a big name in New Japan saying that they're going to go after a mid-card title, obviously the AEW tie-in. I thought that was cool. I thought if you're a New Japan fan, like myself, check it out right here, New Japan Pro Wrestling, thought it was cool. But if you're an AEW fan, as we mentioned before a few times with AEW, you got to explain why he's such a big deal. I get what he said there is I've won every title, so you kind of maybe put two and two together, but still a little bit more of who he's beat, how long he was champion, things of that nature. I would have done just a little bit more for casual fans to understand who Tanahashi is. But after that, we go right in.
Let me jump in on that one.
Go ahead.
I think they're taking the stance of like, we're going to be who we are. We're going to catch some casual fans, and you may have to be like, what the hell is Tanahashi? Or maybe you've heard the name, and now you're going to get to see it. So I think they're taking the stance of like, we don't have to overdo it. We're putting them on the stage. You'll figure it out, right? Even if you don't Google it, when you see them, you're going to be like, shit, I need to see more. Let's do it. I think that's the stance they're taking. And I guess, hey.
It's good. It's good, but it's hard for example, if
I'm old, damn it.
Well, not even that, but like I've been watching wrestling a lot more with my brother-in-law, who only knows of John Cena and The Rock, right? Mm-hmm. And so if he were to see that,
two young upstarts there,
well, like he would understand. Okay, maybe he's a big deal, but maybe as they proved with the entrances at the start of this match, they have some good production value. So maybe put together Tanahashi hitting a finisher on Kenny Omega. You know what I mean? Have him showing the audience that he's beat up some of these AEW guys, and then cut the promo of, I've held all the titles, but I haven't held this one. I thought that would have been a little bit better. But again, that's splitting hairs.
Yeah.
So let's get back into this is a spot where, going to be completely honest with you, I didn't know what happened, but one of the best feuds in pro wrestling, in my opinion, FTR taking on Santana and Ortiz. This feels genuine. This feels gritty. It feels like it needs more time, to be honest, which is a tribute to how good they are, because it's not like I'm exhausted by it. But we get FTR versus Santana Ortiz.
I think it has, for me, yes, it's one of the best storylines in pro wrestling right now, but that's because I think if we're talking about the best storylines in pro wrestling right now, we're talking about, you can probably count them on one hand, you know?
But it's still entertaining.
But it is. I just think, like, for me, I'm like, they could be doing a lot better. We've talked about some of the missteps, some of the kind of, I think they relied on easy things. They're like, you talked about my kids. These are my kids. And it's like, okay, but like, you know what I mean? The thing I remember most about any kid storyline now is like Brock Lesnar saying, I don't give a shit about your kids, right? So like,
that was great.
You know what I mean? So now the bar is raised. You got to bring something more than just like, you know what I mean? It's yes, everybody can get behind it, but I feel like it's one that like everybody's told that story in their daily life, right? So like, I think the match is going to be amazing, though. That's why I'm excited for this, and I'm excited for this kind of like stacking. I feel like this has to be a win for Team LAX, whatever the fuck we're going to call them now, Pride and Powerful, because like they need it, right? I feel like FTR is made to the point in AEW for a while that they can do that like early elite, hey, we're taking a back seat for a while, right? I feel like Santana and Ortiz have been taking that back seat, and I'm hoping for them to get this victory, but we've got some time to get that.
Well, they don't. Yeah. So FTR picks up the victory, but
this feud ain't over, is it? I mean, like,
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But we'll see when we can get this feud to get back on track, because I haven't been paying attention. I don't know of the breaking the kayfabe real injuries, but it looked like.
That may put a pause on it. So this match aside, I mean, what I'm referencing is like this. This didn't feel like it was the blow off, correct? Like you're with me on that, but.
Well, maybe that's the thing. I don't know.
Now that this happened, that may put a monkey wrench in everything I was saying. But if it doesn't, if he's hurt and needs a week or two, and we get there and work that in the storyline, you know what I mean? I feel like we need Santana and Ortiz to kind of be like, put them down and be that next tier up to be like, where's the gold?
Right. And that's where I think whoever does come out the victor needs to go right after the Young Bucks. Yeah. And again, I think Santana Ortiz as baby faces right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and if you recall, they made their entrance. Sorry, but my dogs are so upset about this Young Bucks thing. But I think if you recall, Santana and Ortiz made their debut in AEW by beating up the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
So maybe we revisit that. But anyhow, there was an injury.
Your dog's upset that you're mentioning the Young Bucks. That's not supposed to be said in your house. They understand that. True. They feel the tension. Like it comes across from you when we start discussing the Young Bucks. Is somebody robbing your house? It's possible, huh? That is possible. Yeah, that's the new one, isn't it?
Yeah, he's always upset about something.
I know the feeling. But anyway, hey, hopefully FTR 2, that's FTR 2, right? The one with the hair?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The buff one, not the fat one.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy who doesn't look like he's 50, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. The non-truck driver looking one.
Yes.
Kidding. I was kidding there. I know we have some truck drivers who listen. That was a joke.
But he does look like he drives a truck. Either that or he's like the weight coach for a high school football team in rural America somewhere, right?
I can see that.
Yep.
Hey, so let's get past that.
Definitely has a motorcycle.
We're being a little bit droning with this. So let's move on. So we had backstage Tony Schiavone.
Never.
Yeah. We had Tony Schiavone talking to Britt Baker, and Britt Baker said, hey, she tapped Nyla Rose and broke her wrist. Look how good she is. And she needs someone to watch her back because Rebel can't do it. So we need someone. So maybe we're getting some more muscle, which would be entertaining.
We are, but who is it?
Well, I don't know that, but here's the point I want to make. Hey, lady, you're really entertaining. You're really good with your promo skills, and you have some fun matches, but you can't stay healthy for like longer than 6 months. You're like the, to use a basketball analogy, you're like the Derrick Rose of professional wrestling, where Derrick Rose, when healthy, is one of the best basketball players of all time, but Derrick Rose healthy is like
few and far
full
between.
moon during noon. You know?
I really think I remember when Steve Austin was like, "Hey, my knees were giving out. You know, I had to change my ring style and all that kind of stuff, or a neck broke and all that kind of jazz." And he's like, "So I turned to a brawler." And then he became the biggest fucking star of all time. Like I've said this before. We named an episode title after it. Moves don't matter, right? So whatever you're doing that breaks your wrist, I get. Look, even Steve Austin could have broke his wrist. Yeah, that's a thing aside. But like, we don't these. And I understand the ladies may have an idea that they've got to go a little step further, right? In our patriarchal world, right? And they may be right. But to me, I'm like, hey, listen, you fit 15 amazing spots. Give me 7. Save it for the next one. Draw it out. I understand now more in the last year what I always hated hearing Jim Ross say in his podcast of slow it down. Because I was like, dude, athletes are faster now. But I think what he's getting is like, the story is in the pauses, right? Like you've got to kind of linger for a moment and let everybody process for a second and get there, right? And not that this was too fast of a match or anything that led her to this position, but I think, yes, Britt Baker, you've got too many things going to wind up hurt every time. And, that's easier said than done. I can't be like, stop getting hurt, right? It could be freak accidents every time. But
it just seems like a lot of freak accidents, right?
Yeah.
Sheeta kicks her in the face and breaks her nose. Then she rips her ACL, I believe, and that's why she's in the wheelchair. And now she breaks her wrist. It's like, we haven't been doing this for that long, pal.
I'm upset because these are like two of my favorites in all of wrestling is Rebel and Britt Baker. And I'm like, gosh, dang it. I want them out there more. I'm interested to see who this third person, who's the third woman. Right?
Well, why do you think it's a woman?
True, it could be a man. They didn't even say a gender, did they?
Oh, God bless America. He's already in a faction. But you know who would be so funny to be their muscle?
Who?
Pretty Peter Avalon. And that would just be so funny. It would be the reverse of China with DX.
What if it's Shivani?
Oh, that would be fun.
Now, in a wrist thing, maybe she can get in there and do...
that's not like a career ender, but yeah.
Right.
All right, so now let's get, after the commercial break, into some fun stuff. I need your feedback.
Hold on. I want Shivani in like rolled up sleeves with like the Diesel gloves, like he's coming for a fight, right? And he's almost got Stockholm syndrome, like she's convinced him like he's got to be there to protect her. All right.
He squares up like the Mrs. Dad at WrestleMania.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be funny. So now I need your feedback on this next segment. We had Tony Schiavone, which... Let's take a quick step aside and get back to it. It was announced that goddamn Tony Khan was making this fucking announcement, and then Tony Schiavone just did. And I'm fine with Tony Schiavone making any announcement. Tony Schiavone can make any announcement because he's great at it. But if you say Tony Khan's making the fucking announcement, God bless America, get Tony Khan to say it. Yeah. I don't just say that AEW has a big announcement, and then I'm not expecting
or
to see
at least address it, be like, Tony couldn't make it, although we saw him later in this. Anyway.
Yeah. So anyhow, Tony Schiavone introduces a special announcement for Rampage. He says the show will be at the United Center in Chicago. It's going to be called First Dance. The crowd instantly starts chanting CM Punk. They start showing crowd members chanting CM Punk, and all is good. Then we instantly
hold on. Your point that you're trying to make there, I think, is lost on something that you bring up a lot. Is that I don't think they're pre-planned enough in their production department to be like, show that because we want, like, they didn't think it through. They just showed the crowd chanting something.
No. I think they had some plans. I think that was.
I know they've got some plans. I mean, we'll get there later, but like, I'm surprised they actually did show the crowd. You would think they would have forgot it.
Well, yeah, their production value again isn't top notch, but it's getting there. It's getting better. It's not horrible by any sense. It's not Ring of Honor.
It's not.
But they're not good.
They got lights.
They got lights now. So hey, credit
Ring of
to
Honor
guys.
has lights now,
and they have great talent. I'm not saying anything in the ring is bad. I'm just saying behind the camera is. Anyhow, so we get Tony Schiavone says Rampage. It's going to be called First Dance. It's going to be in the United Center in Chicago.
Not the last dance.
Now Marvez goes backstage with Sting. Hold on. Okay, let's get through it, and then I want to just deconstruct something with you before I get your feedback.
Okay.
So Marvez is backstage with Sting and Darby Allin, and Marvez asks Darby Allin, "Hey, First Dance, what do you think?" And Darby Allin's like, and again, I'm paraphrasing here, but he's like, "Hey, if you want to be the best, you prove it in AEW, even if you think you're the best in the world." So, quickly before I get your feedback, let's just deconstruct that whole weirdness here. So we go from WCW legend Tony Schiavone making an announcement. Then we go to Alex Marvez with Evolve Star, because that's really where he made his name.
Yep.
Darby Allin talking about or alluding to
standing with WCW and WWE Hall of Famer.
Right. Standing with WCW and Pro Wrestling Hall of Famer Sting, alluding to the fact of WWE icon CM Punk. A year ago, Tim, if I told you that's a segment, what does your brain do?
Well, I wouldn't have thought it would be pulled off this well, and I wouldn't have thought it would have been on its grandest sage, right? Well, a year ago, I mean, AEW's been going at this a couple of years now, I guess. But yes, God, that tone right there solidifies it. That will be CM Punk. But what is the Daniel Bryan aspect of it?
Nah, no, you know who it is. It's not CM Punk. You know who it is.
What?
Tim. It's Braun Strowman.
It is not Braun Strowman. You keep saying it. You keep trying to make that a thing.
I think that would be
now. Listen, if they swerve, let him come out like Funkasaurus and just be like, "Oh, I didn't expect that, did you?"
That would be the funniest thing. What would be funny is if they brought in a gimmick act, like if they brought in who was in the Lucha House Party that just got Kalisto? If they brought out Kalisto as like the best in the world, they're like, "What the fuck?" And then
so if Jericho wasn't doing his retirement tour here, more on that later. I would have thought it's Jericho because he's the best in the world at what I do, right?
Well, hey, they had a match that went to a draw, so it definitely could still be Jericho. Again, we'll get into that in a little bit. Maybe we'll see. We don't know.
Nah.
But then to blow your mind even more about all that I talked about there, right? WCW legend Tony Schiavone talking about an announcement that goes into an Evolve Star standing next to a WCW legend that's alluding to a WWE icon. Then we go right into the Bullet Club music, and then it's a New Japan Pro Wrestling match. What? And, I heard this either on YouTube or I read it on a tweet or something like that. But it really feels like this is true, and I may have said this last week, but AEW is becoming the Super Smash Bros. Of pro wrestling.
It is. So I said I think they feel like they are the independent scene getting a big-time stage. And that seems to be how they're going. I think they're like, hey, we're a core company, but we are like touching and pulling in and being like, here, look. And to their credit, I've said this is what WWE always should have been. They could have done this with the network they could have bought the entire professional wrestling world with their resources and stuff and just said like, here, we're going to put you on the network. Anyway.
Yeah.
Just feature a few highlights and be like, check them out over there on our network at whatever. Now, AEW's using it to just garner ratings, traditional TV style, and then, of course, online, clicks and whatnot. But, hey, it's working, and it's getting me exposure to people that I've heard of and wanted to see more of. So, man, Haku is amazing, and I always like the multi-generational wrestlers, right? I always want to give them a shot. Like I always pull for them longer. Like I liked Hurt His Asshole, Curtis Axel.
You like Brock Anderson? Brock Anderson's kid?
Time will tell. Well, so if he comes out wrestling more and he's looking good, like I'm gonna like pull for that guy because of that history tie-in, right? Like when they pulled the NXT game show and they brought out McGillicuddy, right? Curtis Axel, and they brought out Ted DiBiase's son. I was like, this is awesome. I'd like to see both of these guys do well, right? I don't know, just because tied to childhood or whatever, right? Nostalgia. But so seeing Haku's kids, which Ross is correct. Every time we've ever heard any wrestler discuss who had been around, like who the actual toughest person in wrestling is, it's always Haku. Everybody always says Haku. Or Harley Race, maybe.
Well, yeah. I've got
sure, of
some
course, it's
thoughts on
urban
that.
legends, of course. to some
Well,
extent.
and it's also during a time period when Chuck Norris with a sidekick would make everyone pee their pants. You know what I mean? Like, let's not act like
Well, yeah, like
really knew.
people weren't training a whole lot back then, so anybody who had any kind of fighting skills
yeah.
probably got over pretty easily.
And, being a bully made you a kind of folklore legend.
Speaking of, if you want to learn how to train and fight and you're in the Independence area, right? Or is it Blue Springs? It's Blue Springs?
Kansas City, but yeah, Blue
Kansas
Springs
City.
area. Yeah.
All over the metro, you can, yes. But your buddy, our friend of the show,
Sharkbait MMA Jiu-Jitsu
give him a little
school.
free plug, right?
Yeah,
He'll have to pay in the future, of course, but we'll give him a little open a new school. Friend of the show, Sharkbait. So anyway, back to this.
So we get into an IWGP United States title match. Lance Archer with Jake the Snake Roberts against Haku-san, as you mentioned, the 11-foot Hikalu. Nailed it. I don't know how to say his name, but he was a fucking tall bastard that, man alive, I wanted to see more of this guy.
Yes.
Like, again, Haku-san and all of that, but if you just said, hey, we have a mystery opponent for Lance Archer, and this guy walked out, I'm going to look twice. I tell you what, one, this guy knows
Only
where
twice,
the weights
though.
is. Well, one, this guy knows where the weights are.
Yeah.
And two, I think he wins the award for best getting off the bus award. You know what I mean? Like maybe Brian Cage, but this guy is a close second. And this was a fun match.
Yes.
I don't think it like set the world on fire. Obviously, we didn't lead the show with this match, but it was.
This is a good, again, like, this is a good first, right out the gate, first title defense, next night or next week kind of thing for a guy like Lance Archer, whose entire demeanor and character is built around only a few people can actually handle this monster, and you're just going to get chewed up, right? And so this guy comes in, he can handle a little bit because he's a big bastard, but still gets chewed up in retrospect.
Yeah, so Lance Archer, for the finish, hits his blackout to get the victory. Then it's announced by Excalibur that Lance Archer is going to go over to Japan and take on Tanahashi to defend his IWGP United States Championship. Now, I'm going to go out a little bit of order here just because I think it ties in better. But then Jon Moxley, later in the show, has a promo, and he's like, hey, watching the Olympics, it's so great. Here's my beef. Why the fuck are they over there and I can't get over there? I'm pissed off. I wanted to beat that guy's ass when I was champion. Now Lance Archer just gets the chance to go over there? What the hell? And then he says something to the effect of, I'm the forbidden door, Tanahashi, and you're not going to like what's on the other side. Whew. Jon Moxley, all New Japan now.
And I think this is where AEW's working relationship with these organizations will work well, because when you don't have anything to do for Moxley, I'm fine seeing him quickly backstage to promo something somewhere else. You know what I mean? Because then I'll be like, I might check that thing out. Right? And then, you know what I mean? More stars that you frequent in and out of there, that's going to share back and forth talent and whatnot. But, it's not like Moxley faces a random guy and wins, in 3 minutes because we had to get Moxley on TV. That's fine. Like, if you want to put him on TV because it's Moxley, great. And he's promo something else, that's way better than just he's got to beat up, I don't know, won a private party this week. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and I also think it's a great way with these titles, the IWGP United States title, and also the FTW championship to a little bit of a lesser effect, but still I think it accomplishes the same goal, where you have two guys in Ricky Starks and Lance Archer, and they're not having to really do anything with the AEW roster, but they look strong by proxy just because they're holding a title. So I think that's a good way of, instead of just hot-shotting them into a title feud, for example, Ricky Starks is having to take on Miro next week, and then that's just a lose-lose, because what do? Now you can have Ricky Starks say, I have a title, and then Lance Archer is over here saying, I have a title, and just by process of association, they look stronger, they look more credible to when they do want to challenge for AEW championships. It's more believable. So I like this idea of the synergy with other companies, but still having AEW be the focus. Again, Jon Moxley calling out the New Japan company and the New Japan Tanahashi wrestler is okay. Maybe not too many times, right? Like, now it's been a couple months.
I don't need it every week.
I just want John Moxley to be, again, kind of like the Good Brothers. It's like, hey, remember who signs your checks? Let's talk about those people, So anyhow, that's just a critique, and it's very minor. I love everything that's going on. Now let's get into some fun WWE style pro wrestling storytelling here. Marvez again is backstage. He's just our backstage guy for everything. He's with Cody, and Cody gets one word out, and I'm pretty sure he started laughing because I think Malakai maybe showed his dick or something and made him break before the kick to the face. But then Malakai kicks him right to the face. Did you catch that, by the way?
No, I didn't catch that. I'm gonna have to go back.
Cody started to laugh like half a second before he got kicked in the face, and I don't know what Malakai Black did. I don't know if it was one of these things, but he made him crack just for a quick second, and then he got kicked in the face.
He probably did show him a testicle or two. Look, this was the best spot they've done with Malakai Black, but what I'm going to say is this is the exact same spot they've done with Malakai Black every fucking time. Mm-hmm. He spin kicked a couple guys and stared menacingly for the fourth fucking week in a row or whatever it is now. Remember we talked about Sting and his snow? It's Malakai Black and his fucking spin kick. Like, I get it. You're fucking Van Damme of 2021.
Two things I'll say, though. Well, two things I'll say with that is, one, the weird eye. The eye is getting worse, which means it could be some character trait, right? Like, the darker he gets, the worse the eye gets. And second, if you caught it, it wasn't mic'd, but he said, "Welcome to the House of Black." So maybe we're going to get some type of, I don't know if exactly it's an apples to apples comparison, but maybe some type of Firefly Funhouse for Malakai Black. I don't know. That was just a thought of mine. But I agree
Fuego
with
del
you.
Sol, though, sold that kick. Looked like he killed him.
Oh, and I tell you what.
Fuego del Sol, I've called to the ring, by the way.
You have?
Yeah. NWL.
Hey.
He was there as Fuego del Sol. We called him to the ring. He came up and gave me one of these on me to fuck with me, you know what I mean? And I maintained my professionalism and fucking kept announcing.
Look at that.
Yeah. Fuego del Sol. I think he gave me one of these, the little, right by my ear and stuff, right? He was trying to, you know what I mean? Be all freaky deaky. Fuego del Sol.
Well, let's try to get him on the show. Maybe he'll remember that memory.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, he looked like he killed him. God damn, look like he broke his neck.
Well, it looked like breaking kayfabe for a second. Maybe that he had a contract on the line, and if he didn't sell this right, he wasn't going to get a contract to AEW.
He's like, look, I'll get him over.
Yeah, it looked like the best spot of the night. I mean, he sold that better than anyone did in any match. So, next week we'll get Malakai Black versus Cody. I don't know if this is going to be the start of something or the blow off. I kind of hope it's just the blow off. I hope it's the one match. Cody has to go find himself something.
I'm here for it. I'm ready to like this Malakai Black character. I need a story, though. This is not a story. This is just like, okay, but why again, right? Again, why? And why can't be explained after you have the match and you beat him. I need it to happen now. So, I don't know. Yeah, I hope this is over and we move on and we get something like a Firefly Funhouse. Again, I think Malakai Black's a guy that you've got to check, though. I think he may be a genius of a storyteller for people who like his exact niche. But if you want to expand that, you need somebody to kind of like, hey, let's maybe do this instead of that, and we'll win an Emmy, right?
Possibly. Yeah, I'm intrigued to see what he does next. I do think, if we're making an early prediction, I think Malakai Black does win for two reasons. One, I think AEW, that is in the gotta look strong coming right out of the gate kind of crew. And then two, if you've been paying attention to the TV ads and things of that nature, the Go Big Show season 2 is coming up, so Cody has to be a judge on that, so I could see him losing this to then go do that.
Have you, Tom, watched any kind of mainstream regular cable television or network television game show in the last few years? And not to say that nobody's watching them. I want to know if you personally have.
Oh, I watched the first couple episodes. And here's the thing with...
Not regularly, but have you seen one lately?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I've watched a few lately because my wife will be watching something and I'll like catch something. Like, game shows are weird now. I feel like they're really like...
I just love...
The dialogue
I just love this whole crew.
The dialogue feels very weird. I don't know. I haven't watched this particular one, the Go Big Show. But like...
So...
Yeah.
I watch the Go Big show because I like all the people. So Snoop Dogg is Snoop Dogg, and he's fine, and everyone's favorite uncle.
You know what you're getting.
Cody is fine. The little country singer girl is cool. Rosario Dawson,
Which one is that?
Really fun. I don't know her name. It's this skinny girl. But the host is Bert Kreischer, and Bert Kreischer is the fun. And then you get the weirdness of guys hanging, a car off their nipples or whatever the fuck it is. And it's fun. It's forgettable after an hour, but it's good. It's better than The Bachelor. You know what I mean? So like it's passable. So my whole point there is I think Cody's going to go film that Breaking Kayfabe brisket. So Malakai Black will get the black mass on him but then that's the thing. Where does he go from there? Dustin Rhodes? Because if you do that, Brody Lee did that.
It could be anybody. I mean, it could really be anybody. If he beats Dustin or, fucking Cody and we just move on. He could do anything. If you're right, if we're doing like the House of Black or whatever he wants to do and be his weird ass character. I don't want it to be anybody in that fucking Nightmare family. Is that what they call that?
Right.
The Nightmare family?
Mm-hmm. Nightmare Factory.
Nightmare Factory, right?
Yeah, because then the factory is Cutie. Oh, damn it.
Oh, fuck. We were supposed to.
Wow, we're 30 minutes late.
God damn it.
We'll just
Cutie. Has he been on hold this whole time? Text him.
We'll
let him know. Be like, sorry, dude.
Yeah,
Tim's still a huge fan. We appreciate your assistance or your help or whatever. Just be nice to him. Text him. Tell him we'll get him on next week. Sorry, Cutie. Shit, we're live. Cutie. Sorry.
Yeah,
Can we run that back? No, we're live, pal.
Let's go live. Fuck it, we're live. I actually think, what would be fun if I had the pencil here for just a quick moment with Malakai Black. So I think he'll beat Cody, right? Let's have him. Thank you.
Yeah. Damn it, you should have brought a pencil, Tom. Come on. Hey, if you're not watching the YouTube, if you're only listening to the podcast, you're missing more than half the fun.
Yeah, it is so much fun on here. I tell you what, there's so many visual jokes that you're missing out on. So join us on the YouTube channel. But what I was going to say is I think what would be fun if I, again, had the creative control over Malakai Black's character. One thing that I think needs to happen more in wrestling is when you have a bunch of weirdos, we need to have a hierarchy of who the fucking head weirdo is. And so I think right after he gets done with Cody, his next match should be with Dr. Luther. And then after Dr. Luther, we're going with Abaddon's boyfriend, or you know what I mean? Just get all the weirdos lined up and have him take out all of those motherfuckers to where we all understand, hey, there's a weird sideshow over here of voodoos and witches and stuff, but the king of this whole group is Malakai Black. To where then, let's say the Dark Order gets done with their elite stuff, and then the Dark Order starts to get influenced by Malakai Black, but you need to have him establish himself as King Weirdo. And so I think that would be a fun thing. That's what I would do with Malakai Black.
Yeah, the whole Dark Order thing, I wonder at some point, like I know for the foreseeable future, I don't think they anoint anybody the new leader of the Dark Order just out of the whole Brody Lee thing, right? I think they don't want to take away from that. But at some point, if we get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years down the road, nobody remembers. You know what I mean? Like as sad as that is to say, and I don't mean to be
I know what
rude
you're saying, but
crass, but at some point, like, and maybe they're not still a thing in 10 years, but the iron could be hot at some point to actually go dark, to actually have a leader. And I don't know who better that you're going to have that has that history than a guy like Malakai Black.
See, but this is where, again, I like when we have these fun conversations. This is when, again, that's very easy, right? Malakai Black's weird. They're weird. Let's put them together. But what I think you do is, again, you have Malakai Black beat up the Dr. Luthers. There's another guy on Dark too that's kind of like the devil. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but beat up him and beat up all these weirdos, And then Malakai Black just assumes, hey, I'm leading you guys. You're the Dark Order. I'm the King of Darkness, or whatever the fuck we want to call that, right? The House of Black.
Yeah, but they're just Dungeons and Dragons nerds, and they're like,
but like, welcome to my house. Like, you now will serve me. And then that's when we go like, no, there's strength in numbers. We learned from Hangman that we can do this on our own. And they overcome the big bad devil to just be, like you said, hey, we like to dabble in that shit, but we're not going to hurt anyone. Dark Order,
Yeah.
Like, that's what I think they should do.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
It's like cosplay, dude.
Yeah,
Right.
like what the fuck? We don't really put spells on people.
Bro,
Get
yeah.
out of here.
Bro, we're equal
Get outta
opportunities.
I just moved 3 spaces to the right because of this Dungeons and Dragons fucking card.
Yeah.
Think I actually care about that fucking spells? Get out of here. Hey, Tim, let's keep it moving. 2 things inspire me. I don't know if they inspire you, but they inspire me. 1 is a vengeful god, and 2 is a double-jointed wife. Good God, Miro is awesome. Is Miro not the
only
best?
2 things motivate me in life. A vengeful
Motivate.
god.
I said it's inspiring.
And
Yeah.
a double-jointed wife. God
Good.
damn it. God damn it. I'm stealing that because I know who's not a
And-
wrestling fan, and I'm going to use that.
And the Redeemer, he
Yeah.
has built a nickname with no in-ring action. Now, obviously, he's taken out Lance Archer and he's taken out, Darby Allin in the past to get the title, things like that.
Yeah.
But he is now the Redeemer, and we just are like, totally makes sense. Because he's this, like, weird pseudo, I'm called by God to be a greater force to kill all you people. And that's fucking
It's
cool,
perfect.
man.
And I mean, it's kind of, we're spinning our wheels right now, but it's perfect because he's going to take a few more on and he's just going to destroy people. And somebody, we don't even know who it is yet, I feel like, but when somebody's hot, marry the 2, Rusev will put him over, they'll get a big victory, they'll be the new TNT champion, and Rusev
but
is
I
not
tell
going
you
to get
what.
hurt. But it's going to
Yeah,
be a while. I mean, it's going to be a while down the road.
Oh, it's definitely going to continue to next week because next week he takes on Lee Johnson. Let's do one of these for Lee Johnson. Your fucking ass is going to be hurt
Lee
for
Johnson
a while,
is
pal.
practicing sales all week. All week.
Yeah.
How do I look like I broke my neck and not actually break my neck?
I tell you what, but I'm excited to see Miro back in the ring. He is so much fun. I hope as soon as he gets this victory over Lee Johnson, we put a microphone back into his face and cut a promo. More promos from Miro. That is what I'm all about. Now, the next match. This, in my opinion, is where I would have put it before the main event because no one fucking cares about it anymore. It is Private Party and Slender Man versus Jurassic Express. I don't know what that guy's name is. Jurassic Express and Christian Cage. And this was good. This was serviceable. Again,
Who the fuck was? Forget it.
I don't know.
forget
The
who it
dancing one. Angelico, is that his name?
Yes, Angelico.
There it is. This guy that always fucking looks like Slender
the
Man.
fucking- he does the
Yeah.
John
Oh,
Moxley
what?
with a little extra arm movement, right?
Yeah. Fucking weirdo. And I like him. He's fine. I'm just.
Hey,
it's
look,
not my
don't
thing.
get me wrong. I enjoy some of the same things that Angelico enjoys. Just
Yeah.
clearly not to the same amount.
Yeah, you just have a different.
It's clearly not the same
You have a
amount.
different wavelength.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm clearly doing way less. Anyway.
Yeah. So with this match, it was good in the sense of for the live crowd. As we talked about, this was in North Carolina. One of the Carolina legends is Matt Hardy, right? So you got to have Matt Hardy in front of the crowd. You're checking all the boxes. You still get Jungle Boy out there looking like Jungle Boy. We get to sing his song. So again, you're checking all the boxes, but no one really cared. And this is where, the ebbs and flows of a show. This is what you do right before the main event because let's just get to it. Jurassic Express and Christian Cage win the match. It was fine. You had Marco Stunt run up and lose a shoe, which was a great, improv moment there like that. But, okay, and then I also forgot this in my notes. Then the Blade comes out and knocks out Christian Cage and was like, no one touches Matt Hardy. So we're going to get the Blade versus Christian Cage next week. That's fine. But what I was going to say is the women's match, as always, it seems like, was right before the main event. And side note, and I don't know if they knew this, but side note, North Carolina is in love with Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
I think she had one of the loudest pops of the night. That is where you put that match and you put this 6-man tag right before the main
this was a
event.
lull because of the 2.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know, man. I really like Christian Cage, just his old career, his demeanor, the person we hear he is, right? Like, so I was more excited than what I feel we've gotten, but of course I think his real value is going to be that behind the scenes thing. So
Yeah, and everything that he's doing is fun and fine. And if he can do another match with the blade like he's done with other guys where he has to pull it out in the 9th inning to get the victory, then
And
more
anytime
power to him.
we get the Jungle Boy entrance song.
That's what I'm saying. It checked all the boxes as far as like, hey, this is all fun, right? Yep, but this is the down, again, of the ebbs and flows. This was the down before you get to the main event. But before we get there, let's talk about that standard women's match before the main event. It was Julia Hart taking on Thunder Rosa. Now, the news with Thunder Rosa is she is 100% all elite. She is with AEW. What do you think about that move?
Look, I thought AEW didn't matter. I thought you could just be on AEW whether you were all-time AEW or not. So I don't know if that's going to help or hurt her career. I don't know. I mean, seeing more Thunder Rosa is okay. You know, her biggest spots have come like against Britt Baker. And then, you know, I just don't. I mean, she could challenge for some titles, right? So, look, she's clearly one of the best. I love Thunder Rosa, and again, the matches are always intense. Same way I feel about, gosh, why am I drawing a blank now? The one we talk about all the time that makes everything feel real. The female wrestler. It'll come to me. Whatever. You know, you get in this match and you're just like, this is great. I like this. So yeah, great. I just don't know. Like, to me, I was like, she felt like I already saw her as many times as I saw any other woman on the roster. So when they're like full-time AEW, I'm like, okay, nothing will change. I'll still see her.
Well, but I think it does. And this is what I think it means is we can now possibly give her the title, because as much as we've done this, AEW is going to all these other promotions, fun stuff. No one from an outside promotion has yet to win the AEW championship. So by Thunder Rosa being a full-time all elite wrestler, I think when we get that Lights Out 2 match, we're going to have possibly Thunder Rosa taking the belt. So that's why I think it's important.
Fact checked. It's Serena Deeb I was discussing.
Oh, Serena Deeb throws your fucking knee into the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, she needs to be all elite, because that's another person.
She's on the women's roster according to the Wikipedia at least.
But isn't she the NWA Women's Champion?
Is she right now still the NWA Women's Champion? I don't know. I don't watch the NWA Power enough. I don't or at all.
Yeah, I've caught it a couple times.
I've caught it a couple times. I just don't watch it regularly enough to tell you anything. Yeah, I don't got enough time. I'm a busy guy.
Are you?
Yeah.
You are. But Thunder Rosa being all elite makes me think that we could possibly see her be the one that dethrones Britt Baker when we want to switch the title.
We've got a whole lot of factions in AEW, but I'm not recalling a woman's faction. So.
Somewhat, right? We kind of did with Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero.
But let's get like a named faction.
Yeah, that's true.
Thunder Rosa. Who's she going to lead?
Oh, who's Thunder Rosa going to lead? The one that's left from the women's tag team tournament victory, not Ivelisse, but the other one, Diamante.
Yes.
So you do Thunder Rosa, Diamante. Then you got to throw in. See, this is what I would do. Look, let's
T-Mac story time.
Well, let's get something. I've talked about it before, but let's talk about it again. This fucking high school or college gimmick with the Varsity Blondes and Julia Hart, fuck that shit. So what you do is you get some hard bitches, right? Thunder Rosa, Diamante, and you turn little blonde, blue-eyed, everything is great, Julia Hart into like try me,
Nick
motherfucker.
Gage
Well, you turn her into the like, oh, you know who the craziest one of all of us is? That one. And it's the, hey, guys, what's up? And it's like, I'm going to fuck you up.
So kind of that Alexa Bliss, like on the front, I'm like prior to going full crazy. On the front, who's a better...
Well, like Nikki Cross. Like you do the Nikki Cross from Sanity, where it's like, you got all these hard girls here, but the crazy one who's going to jump into a men's ladder match is Julia Hart. You guys better fucking watch out. But she doesn't aesthetically look like that. So I would make those three a faction. I don't know what we're going to call them. Maybe Rolling Thunder if you don't have that trademarked by Rob Van Dam, something like that. And then that's your faction. Diamante, Thunder Rosa, Julia Hart. Let's get rid of the varsity. Ooh. Mega clap. Anyhow.
She's still doing the cheerleader gimmick, but then like all of a sudden she just fucking, you know what I mean? So she's thunderclap now. Cheerleader gimmick's got to go.
Yeah, like she flirts with the cheerleader thing, but she's not in the get up, right? She's not a cheerleader, but she kind of flirts with the like, you know.
It would be different if they went with like cheerleading. Like competition level cheerleading is intense fucking shit, right? But when they do the high school pom-poms fucking, you know, if they did like that's her background and you know what I mean? Like you said, she flirted with that occasionally, but yeah.
No.
The high school pom-pom short skirt. Is that still happening in 2021 where they wear the like borderline too short skirt for cheerleaders?
Fucking know.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. They didn't. Two reasons why they don't need to do it. One, it's for fucking kids, and you're not a kid, so stop acting like the old guys at prom. And two, we're not 1990s wrestling where we all have occupations, right? Like I get that Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, is a dentist, but the thing is she's a legit dentist, and I get that she was Julia Hart, a legit varsity.
Well, we don't all
whatever.
Like we don't all. We don't all like connect with that because we have jobs that are like just office jobs, and you know what I mean. Like they could fit a different name in any different company and doing largely the same thing, right? It's all technical, blah blah something, right? Like something manager or representative or fucking, you know what I mean? So yeah, they can't do that, right? They can't do customer support specialist. Wrestler, right? So we're not gonna. Did I get it? Did I nail it?
Yeah. I'm gonna
data
clear
specialist.
cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna clear cash and then clear your face with my right fist.
Right? Let me get that keyboard across your lip, motherfucker.
Yeah. Control Alt Delete your life. Now let's talk about the main event.
Boy, you just forgot to sign out of your fucking VPN over the weekend, bitch.
Yeah. Now let's get into it. All right, we talked about the Jon Moxley promo already. That was fine. That was good. Excited for that. The 5 Labors of Jericho, Chapter 2. If you recall, Chapter 1 was a chairs match.
And the 5th labor is
Shawn
MJF,
Spears.
right? So there's only, right? He's got to get through 4 to get to
And
MJF.
then the 5th is him. Yes.
Right, and we know who the 3rd is, so there's only one mystery left. But anyway, back to this.
Yes. So if you recall, the first Labor of Jericho was a chairs match with Shawn Spears, the chairman, where Shawn Spears could use a chair, Chris Jericho cannot. Sammy Guevara gets involved to help out Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho gets the victory. Fuck all that shit. No more inner circle in this bitch. You guys can't come to the ring. Second chapter is a no rules match with the god of this shit, MDK, East Block, Free My Boy 2-6, Nick motherfucking Gage, MDK, all fucking day. I ordered a t-shirt as soon as he walked out. As I was talking about earlier in the night, when Dark Order came out and found myself just fucking doing the hand signal, I had so much fun with this fucking show that as soon as MDK walked out with this fucking pizza cutter, I went to mdkallday.com, got a large in the original throwback MDK shirt. It's on, shipped already. I cannot wait to wear it. I'm fucking MDK gang fucking day.
I'm looking at the shirt right now, and I might get it.
Oh, he's the best. He's the best. Right here, motherfuckers. See, if you're on YouTube, you're actually seeing that. But he took on the Painmaker version of Chris Jericho. Now, I love this. This was so much fun. Tim, what did you think, though, of this death match on TNT television?
Look, I thought they went about as far as they were going to go on AEW, which I thought would go a little bit farther than most, you know, just to give it a little sprinkle. So there was glass. There was the pizza cutter was a touch. Maybe if you would have asked me going in, I wouldn't have thought like, yeah, sure, they'll do the pizza cutter. I thought maybe they wouldn't do that, right? But I thought for sure glass and light tubes. The pizza cutter, and then, of course, the blow up from the Domino's picture-in-picture commercial lives on. I just sent it to you. Barstool Sports picked it up and put it in a tweet.
Well, you know who's not happy about that? I read on Twitter.
It's Domino's.
Domino's isn't happy. Which fucking lean into it, assholes.
Well, listen, there's no way they could have known, right? They couldn't have known the timing that he was going to bust out a pizza cutter and fucking cut, you know. And what are they supposed to do? Stop the commercial all of a sudden? They can't do that. Well, we know how that works. They can't do that.
Yeah, and then also, is Domino's not just going to have some fucking fun? You know what I mean?
Guaranteed you're going to get more wrestling fans ordering Domino's pizza over the time. That's how it works, because you don't even think about it. It's like a fucking subliminal thing. Well, that's why they pay for commercials. Controversy creates cash. Get Eric Bischoff on the phone.
Well, not even that. My point is, you're going to get the pro wrestling fans that think it's a funny thing to order Domino's, because Domino's is going to be the death match pizza.
They should include a pizza cutter.
What I'm saying though is the mom in Wisconsin isn't going to fucking know about this. This isn't hitting her radar. The only people that are going to see this are wrestling fans. So Domino's, you're only making it a bigger deal by saying we don't support this. Shut the fuck up.
By the way, I'm checking out that mdkallday.com, looking at this shirt, and I want to run through it. You know, it's got the shirt. It says MDK Classic logo tee, gives you the price. You can select a size. You can add to your cart. And then it gives a few bullet points, and it says screen printed in Los Angeles, California, 100% cotton, soft as fuck. I love it. I've got buying the selling part.
That's it. That was the selling word.
Yeah,
right there. That was like, of course I'm getting this shirt.
Yes,
fucking love this match. What I liked about it is, and we're going to get into GCW Homecoming Night 1 in just a moment here, but what I liked about this was it was an appetizer for deathmatch wrestling, where you did get the pizza cutter, but you know how long you got the pizza cutter? Maybe 7 seconds, 8 seconds. It wasn't this deep, long out, I'm grinding his head. When you got the shiv from the light tube from Nick Gage, I know that they went hard. I know that. But Nick Gage took care of Chris Jericho in so many different aspects. One of which being that shiv where he put his hand.
Yeah.
The side of his hand was hitting Jericho's
Look, he even
forehead,
did that, and we're going to talk about another match over this weekend with Nick Gage. He even did that in that match. Like he
took care of these guys.
Yes. Look, you're going to get bloody. You're going to get stabbed. You're going to get cut. But he did not ever put these guys in more danger than they were already willing to put themselves in, it appears.
Yeah, I think most of the blood came from Chris Jericho blading himself, which he's done a million times because he came up through the 90s and early 2000s, which he did that in every single match, it felt like. So that was nothing new to him. And I think all of those spots with the pizza cutter and all of that was either really quick or protected, where it's the side of the hand hitting his head, not the actual light tube. Now the light tube things he had to take. There's no faking that. But this is again where I will bring up, this is the second instance where we had, how long were they at Daly's place? 16 months?
Yeah,
18 months?
Like yeah.
You had 18 months to have all the fun stuff with no fans, and now you've done 2 shows where the first show, Nick Gage is throwing thumbtacks just at the crowd. Now, it's supposed to hit Eddie Kingston, but most of them didn't. And then you have light tubes just getting exploded on Jericho's head, and they showed the crowd got hit with some of the glass. It's like, guys, timing, not the best, but still fun. Love it.
Yeah. What a match. Nick Gage is intense character is really all I have to say about that. Like,
I love it.
Yeah.
I love him. I love his inspirational videos. If you've never seen him on Twitter, where he talks in favor of trans rights, because trans rights are human rights.
Yep.
I like that he's about his fucking friends. He's loyal. He's about this shit. He's a great, genuine dude. And guess what? If you cross him, he's going to fucking hurt you really bad. Because that's what you deserve.
Yeah.
Fucking Nick Gage.
And we're going to talk more about Nick Gage. Stick with us if you're watching live, or if you're listening later on the podcast or watching later.
Nick Gage.
We're going to talk about Nick Gage, and people love them some Nick Gage. And
But let's get to the end of this match. So, match ends with the Judas effect, which I like that the Judas effect is becoming Chris Jericho's one-winged angel, where with Kenny Omega, only one person, which John Moxley kicked out, but one person has kicked out of it.
Because he misses it every fucking time. Yeah.
Well, it has to be safe, because or you're breaking
the goddamn thing. He
yeah,
didn't hit it. He did not hit the
this
fucking.
One he did.
Yeah,
this one he did.
Right,
but it's still, again, they don't get take twos. He would probably do it if they had it. So again, suspend your disbelief for just a little bit. But no one's kicked out of the Judas effect. Neither does Nick Gage. Nick Gage loses. Chris Jericho gets his victory. Just as it was last week, MJF says, fuck that shit. You don't get to celebrate. We're going right into Chapter 3. Chapter 3 is going to be a blast from your past from the WCW Cruiserweight division, returning to TNT television, Juventud Guerrera. Now, what do you think of this?
So much to unwrap here, and my mind went deep, and I'm going to cover it here. But also, before we get into that, MJF was on commentary for that match we were just discussing, and he's great.
The best.
And I love how he was like, at one point, like, Gage is bringing out the light tubes. He's like, what? It's legal. He's like, what's wrong with you, JR? It's legal. What do you care? And then, like, the very next thing, Jericho's hitting him with a bat. He's like, well, this is just cheating, right? Like, this is just... He's like, come on, everybody can see that. This is cheating. Love him. Yeah. MJF is my favorite. All right.
Yeah.
So, Juventud Guerrera. This is where I started thinking, oh, shit. I think we're watching the Jericho retirement tour. Because why would he bring in his greatest rival of all time, or whoever he considers one of his greatest rivals of all time, in an otherwise story where we're not going to care? Like, I mean, yes, we have a little bit of like, Hoovy, but nobody was ever like, Hoovy was my fucking guy of guys, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, right, yeah.
So it really doesn't advance this idea that, like, he's also like a, I don't know, I think Juventud Guerrera is 95 years old. So, like, it doesn't, like, it's not this, like, oh my God, he's going to lose. Now, he did say you've got to hit a spot off the top rope. Yeah. And, of course, Juventud Guerrera, that's all he fucking does. So, good luck, because that's his first. He's going to enter the ring that way. How are you going to stop it? But I'm a little worried now. I'm like, oh, shit, are we seeing the end? Is Chris Jericho going to lose to MJF and retire? Here's where I'll know that's happening. If it's Lance Storm as number 4, this is the retirement tour.
Now,
if it's Lance Storm, you'll believe me. You'll be on board.
I will.
It's
I will.
Tour.
If it's Lance Storm, I could see him beating Lance Storm and then losing to MJF and then saying, I can't do it
anybody
anymore.
Who hasn't ever read any of the Jericho books, Lance Storm, like they went to the training, they started wrestling training the same day. Right. Yeah. It was his first match. So, of course, Jericho's that kind of guy. Jericho, if he was writing a story, which he loves to write his stories. Yeah.
Right here.
Hey, can I borrow
Jericho's book? Yeah.
Yeah, no.
By the way.
Never borrowing anything of mine again.
No, ever. By the way, got it signed. If you're on the YouTube, you can see this. Got it signed by Chris Jericho.
You know what Chris Jericho will not do? Be on the Spanish announce table, apparently. Remember, his agent told us a hard no.
Fuck that agent. It's probably the agent. He probably didn't know. October 2nd, 1990, his first match was against Lance Storm. So, there you go. You can check it out.
If it's Lance Storm.
It's not going to be Lance Storm. No, it's not. Here's what I think. I think what they're doing is, hey, you know how much success we had with Cody Rhodes' Open Challenge? And we got to see Warhorse and Eddie Kingston, and then Eddie Kingston becomes a member and all these fun things. Well, let's do it again. But if we call it an Open Challenge, then everyone's just going to compare it to Cody Rhodes. So we call it the 5 Labors of Jericho, and we're getting fun matches that way. I think the 4th match will be someone from Jericho's past, but it isn't going to be Lance Storm. You know who it's going to be?
You told me.
It's going to be one of his former tag team partners, one of his
champions
former
of the world.
Champions of the world tag team champion, or the tag team champions, Jericho. I think this is going to be the return of Paul White in the ring. We're going to get Paul White versus Chris Jericho.
You've got to beat the Giant. But again, I'm going back to, Paul White is, I think he's younger than Juventud, but he's like 84 years old. So, oh no, Jericho's got to beat an 84-year-old man with bad knees who's 500 pounds. Come on, man. If he can't do that, then this was the point of this, I guess. But
I think they're going to build Paul White as he's in the best shape of his career. He knows Chris Jericho better than anyone else. I mean, they're going to play all those hits, right? And then he's a 7-foot, 500-pound monster.
It's going to be Lance Storm, and then he's going to retire, losing to MJF.
No, he's going to beat Juventud. I think he has to do a Hurricane Rana, so that's going to be oh my God, he's 50 and he can do that. That's going to be the spot. And then I think the 4th labor of Jericho is Paul White. That's what I'm predicting. And then the 5th one, MJF beats him. I still think MJF comes out on top.
Yes. God damn it. This was all for nothing if they don't.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I kind of wonder. That's where I think it's the retirement. I think he comes out, it's like Lance Storm's like, all right, fine, you get me, but I'm throwing an extra wrinkle. If you lose, you never wrestle again.
Now, they definitely could do that. But again, pro wrestling, how many people have retired, right? I think this is going to be after the 5 Labors of Jericho. I think this is the transition of the Inner Circle is Chris Jericho's group to the Inner Circle is Sammy Guevara's group. And I think this is when Jericho may become like a founding father type member where he just pops in and out and says like, hey,
Dude, I would love
you
that.
need some muscle. I can be that.
I would love that. Sammy Guevara leading the...
Sammy Guevara, I think, is going to take over the Inner Circle, which would not shock me is if in the 5th match, Sammy Guevara turns heel on him and then on the Inner Circle kicks out Chris Jericho or
Maybe
something.
that's the
to that
4th
effect.
labor.
Maybe. Again, like I said, I wanted it to be all of Inner Circle, but man, see, Josephine was really into that.
Full-throated. That sounded like she was like eating somebody's leg and barking at the same time.
She's done that before. But yes, so that
I'm
was
aware.
AEW Dynamite. Yeah, she's done it to you. So that was the main event for AEW Dynamite, Fight for the Fallen. Chris Jericho beats Nick Gage. This was a fun show. But speaking of Nick Gage, and if you look behind us currently right now, you'll see a very bloody, very beat up, but a victorious Matt Cardona.
Woo!
GCW Homecoming Night 1.
Night 1, even. They did this on night 1. They said, fuck it. We're unloading this on night 1.
Well, yeah, and this was what we all came to see. This is what we were paying for. This got the most attention, as it should be. I watched the entire show. I ordered the pay-per-view on Fight TV. Tim, you watched just the main event. So
yeah, I had to catch it later, a couple days later, and I purposely avoided watching any video footage because I understood, so I got spoiled on who was going to win the match, right? But I understood, apparently, from what I heard, the crowd reaction, they put it on the level of Hogan turning heel. So I was like, okay, I don't want to see it. I want to watch this whole thing back through, right? But let's rewind a little bit. Walk me through getting to there, right? You're watching the event. GCW, we know, we've been following along lately, is different in a myriad of ways.
Yeah, so it starts off with Starboy Charlie taking on Marco Stunt. So I was already interested because I'm a fan of Marco Stunt.
I saw this, man.
Yeah. Jurassic Express, Marco Stunt does the little flossing moves. Yeah. He will take any bump that you ask him to. He's game for a hardcore match. He's game for a flying match. He can do whatever you want. I like him.
Yeah.
Starboy Charlie.
These are like the 2 smallest guys in pro wrestling today doing all the flips and shit.
Yeah, so I wasn't familiar with Starboy Charlie, so this was my first exposure to him. I was very impressed with him. He wrestled on night 2. But Marco Stunt got the victory. A great way to start it off with, hey, we're going to do
he was a GCW
suicide
guy,
dives.
Marco Stunt, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But we're getting suicide dives. We're doing all the fun stuff. Hey, look over here. Look over there. It was good.
Athletes. Next, these guys have, between them, I think they have 52 abs.
Well, yeah, but it's compacted in 4 inches.
Right, yeah. It's 5 inches of ab space, but it's 52 abs.
Yeah, exactly.
5 inches of ab space is a great name for this episode.
I like that. Now, the next match was one of the guys that was the most impressed with, and I actually want to see more of him. Now, he was on the losing end of this match, but it was Tony Deppen versus Ninja Mac. Ninja Mac looking like a trash bag of 3-year-old garbage, but he could do all the flips. He could do all the back flips.
He looked like Sub-Zero was working the independent scene 30 years later.
He looked like Sub-Zero. Right? Well, he looked like Sub-Zero's drunk uncle.
Right. That's what I mean. It's Sub-Zero working the independent scene 30 years later. You know what I mean? Playing the same gimmick, but can't do it because, it's trademarked by the WWE, by Mortal Kombat or whatever, by Acclaim. So he's got to wear the black instead of the blue, right? And he's overweight, and he's like, all right, I'll be signing autographs over at the merch table. $20
some ice.
$20 for the headshot, 30 for the t-shirt.
Yeah, who wants to see
35 for
me
you,
make
triple
ice?
X. I got triple X. I got 4X.
I'm wearing triple X. This is what it looks
We've
like.
been to some wrestling shows if you want to know.
Yeah, but Ninja Mac was so much fun. He was doing Phoenix 630s.
He was
I
all
think
over
I
the
wrote
place.
down
I saw
once.
you mentioned that, so I saw the highlights of this. I didn't watch this whole match, but I pulled up the highlights of this, and this was the extent of what I saw before the main event.
Okay, so then I thought the match of the night. Now, the spectacle and the moment and the news was the main event, as it should be. But for me, the match of the night, and who I think is GCW. I get Nick Gage all motherfucking day, and I love Nick Gage. Nick Gage is the fucking man and awesome. But I think a former GCW heavyweight champion is the real star of this promotion. The RVD, as you would say. RVD was to ECW as AJ Gray is to GCW. AJ Gray comes out to Waka Flocka, and he's jumping around with the crowd. I think I got it playing right now. Hey! Again, I saw him at the barn show a couple weeks ago, and he's the best mixture of Cedric Alexander, New Jack, little Nick Gage, RVD, and then just I'll beat your ass. You know, it's just so fucking good. And he took on this guy, Nolan Edwards, who was wearing a mask. It got to a point where Nolan Edwards got so fired up, he just ripped his own mask off and was like, we're fucking fighting.
Fuck it, we're fighting. That's great.
It was
I did not
good.
see this, but I do know AJ Gray from some of the previous shows, and you're right. I mean, the dude is a star.
Yeah, it was so great. Then you got, and I may be out of order. I took notes kind of just here and there and stuff. But then, you know, we talked about Chris Jericho at 50 years old doing all this amazing stuff. Then we get a Too Cold Scorpio match where this motherfucker at 55 years old, and I think that's legitimately how old he is, does like a backflip leg drop from the top rope. And he's wrestling this guy who's like all about being high. I can't remember his name. I think it's like, it's Grim Reaper. That's his name. Grim Reaper. And the whole match is based off of a blunt.
Great. Yeah.
Well, the whole match is based off of a blunt where Grim Reaper is just trying to get high and Too Cold Scorpio is just trying to beat his ass. And then they kind of share a blunt, but then they go back to fighting each other. It was silly. It was
okay, I've got to
stupid.
go see this as soon as we're done with this show. Now,
yeah.
This is fun.
And you want to talk about someone looking a little worse for wear. Grim Reaper looked like...
Grim?
You know, yeah,
Pretty
wasn't
grim.
great. But it was so much fun. And then...
I love GCW. They really are just different. They're just different.
Well, and then let's get into what was a little different. And this is where I found out where my line was. We had title for title. We had Drew Parker and Alex Colon in a ultra violent death match. And I told you this. I think through text or maybe Messenger. I don't remember. But I like when matches with violence make sense. For example, when it was Matt Cardona later on in the night versus Nick Gage, it was Nick Gage saying like, this is our world. You're not allowed. You're going to feel what it's like to live with the savages. And so it made sense why Matt Cardona would get, you know, fucking razor blade or whatever it was during that match. This match, however, it felt like consensual torture. It just felt like, hey, let's just fuck each other up to see who can last. And that, to a certain extent, just doesn't become entertaining. It just becomes like how Lucha is, where we talk about Spot Fest.
Yeah.
This becomes on the opposite end.
Same concept.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It just becomes spots.
If it's just blood for blood's sake and it's just like, now I'm going to cut him, because like if there's not a story.
Right.
And it's not a build-up and a crescendo, same thing, then it's just doing it for doing its sake. And I'm not interested.
Yeah, it was, again, I got to the point where I was like, can we just wrap this up? Because I don't really know what we're doing. It's just weird spots. That, again, doesn't make sense because afterwards they're like, let's do it again. We're friends. It's like, what? Doesn't make sense. Because I don't know. Anyhow, just not for me. If it's for you, more power to you. Pro wrestling can be whatever you want. And that's the great thing about it. After that intermission, we got some scramble action. This Addison Cougar motherfucker. Woo! People do not like this guy. And I like it. He walks out and you thought Matt Cardona was getting middle fingers, which he did. This Addison Cougar guy got middle fingers, but like not with the smirk. Because like when Matt Cardona comes out, we kind of all understand why he's there, right? He's trying to get some street cred. He's trying to get back into the IWC bubble, which is great and more credit to him. But this Addison Cougar guy, they were like, no, we fucking hope you die slow. Like we want you to like be lost in the dark and not know who your loved ones are. Like, fuck you.
Listen, for anybody not in the know, GCW is based out of New Jersey, and there are some characters in New Jersey that are rough fellas, right? It's a rough crowd.
Well, this guy is in this group that we'll talk about in the main event. But before we get there, Addison Cougar wins this scramble. Some fun spots. One guy got this fucking thing shoved in his head and he was just wrestling with it still. That was kind of weird, but whatevs.
Yeah, it's a little much for me when they go full death match, right?
Yeah. I mean, but again, if it makes sense, I'm okay with it. But when you're just like, fuck it, why not? That's and where we had a spot where, what the fuck are we doing? Was the next match, the GCW Tag Team Championships. It was the Second Gear Crew taking on G Raver and Jimmy Lloyd. Apparently G Raver and Jimmy Lloyd just fucking don't like each other. So it's like a Tommy Dreamer and Raven as tag champs kind of storyline. And so they didn't fucking like each other. Second Gear Crew, which was Matt Justice and Mance Warner. Mance Warner took on Nick Gage at that Barn show. They did the same spot here where they stapled his fucking tongue to a door. And then they threw Matt Justice through the door, which made Mance Warner rip his tongue from the door. I think this is a gimmick spot. You can't be doing that too many times or else you wouldn't have a tongue, but it still works for me, right? Pete Dunne fucking cracks those fingers and that always looks real. So Second Gear Crew wins your GCW tag champs. Or tag team titles. That was a fun match, but then here, let's get into it. The main event. It was, then we got Effie. Sorry, we got Effie versus Frontman Jaw. That was just let's before the main event get you a fun match. Effie's Effie. We love Effie. Do we love Effie? I think he's fine.
I like him. Yeah, I mean, Effie, I think he's got a charisma and the crowd's behind it. Again, I think it's like it's a roll him out and Hogan must pose kind of spot. But
yeah, the thing that I get a little aggravated with the IWC, especially younger members in the IWC, is they love to talk about how fucking dumb some parts of the IWC were. And they talk about, the Godfather and Val Venus and how those haven't aged well. And they haven't.
Right.
And again, I like Effie for his charisma, but the, hey, let me suck your dick spot in every match that he does, that isn't aging well right now.
Right.
So it's like, I'm not the biggest Effie fan in the world, but if he's your thing, again, I like that he's pushing the pro gay wrestler movement. That's all thumbs up and love it. But
another thing before we tear into this main event too, a highlight of watching GCW, and this isn't just to blow smoke up the ass of a guy who's been on our show, is some Kevin Gill commentary. Dude's got some quips. Dude is an intelligent guy. And he guides that show along like he's a professional.
And the jabs that he threw at Matt Cardona in our main event, being the doll collector.
Oh man,
were so
that's how he
fun.
Refers to him is like doll collector, noted doll collector, professional doll collector. That's how he refers to him, and it's great. I'm here for it. Yes.
Yeah. So we get Matt Cardona taking on Nick Gage for the GCW World Title match. Tim, I've kind of ran through this card a lot.
Yeah,
so
let me take over.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm watching this, and I have to go show my son. Again, 14, watches wrestling enough to, like, humor me when I'm like, dude, watch this. And knows some things from when he was younger. I was like, watch. I don't think he remembered Long Island IC, right? Like, he didn't remember Zack Ryder, but I was like, all right. So I tell him, I'm like, old WWE guy, watch this entrance. I was like, that's real security. Like, security's really got to get Matt Cardona to the ring because the crowd is in his shit, right? That's the first thing that jumps out at this. Security looked like they were almost about to get their ass kicked. Like, he needs 5-6 guys, was it? I mean, like, it was surrounding him, doing the whole pushing out of the way, but they're getting knocked over, and Matt Cardona's selling the whole thing. He's, fuck you, fuck this, get the fuck out of the way, fucking bitches. Like, I mean, he's the whole time doing the fucking head nod thing, loving it. And I was like, that was intense. And then I saw Nick Gage come to the ring, and it was worse, and he's the fucking crowd favorite. And I was like, Nick Gage is going to have to fight the fucking crowd to get to the ring. Like, it's so intense. And I mean, just the fucking tension in that place. And then to get into this match that is just, it's everything. It is the pizza cutters. It's the light tubes. It's the panes of glass. And Ryder tries to, Cardona tries to run. The crowd doesn't let him, right? Like, he then is just like, fuck the whole time, right? Everything that's happening to him, I love that, where he's just like, fuck, just the whole time. And then, so it started to get weird. Okay, so they had the fake Jericho entrance, right? And it's a nobody, right? So the music hits, Gage gets distracted. Some guy comes out. And then this next crew comes out, which, not watching GCW for a long time, but they're telling they're hitting the spot. Well, Kevin Gill's telling them enough backstory to know, like, this is longtime rivals, right? Like, or a longtime rival coming to his aid, right, against this team trying to get him. So I'm like, okay, but this is a lot of weird. At this point, I'm worried they're starting to lose me because I'm like, why all this extra interference? But then I get it. All right, it's his ex nemesis helping him out. And then the swerve, he hits it, gives him the Kansas City punt.
Yep.
Cardona gives him the thumbs up, gives him the pinfall, and the crowd did something I haven't ever seen. I've seen them throwing stuff in the ring before, but not like this. Aside from maybe the chairs in ECW. But they asked for that. This was, fuck you, I'm going to kill you. And if there was 1,500 people in this arena, he got hit with 1,200 bottles. And this is to that casino that they do this place. This is why you're not supposed to sell bottles with the fucking lids on them. This is exactly why they don't do that in NFL stadiums. So when you throw it, it won't hit him like a projectile fucking missile. Matt Cardona had to hide himself and did his job. He did a great job of getting the spot, raising the title, flipping everybody off, getting everybody shit, but like, he had to run for his life. This crowd was going to kill him. And you can see the picture behind us. His outfit was white. That thing is fucking real. Like, his outfit was pure white when he started this match. I can't tell you, I haven't seen anything like this ever, I think, that I can remember outside of maybe some early ECW stuff.
Yeah, this was fantastic. I liked all the storytelling. I agree with you. The 44 OH, I believe they're called. Justin will fact check us on that. But I like that. It went on just a touch too long, right? Because to your point, they're like, okay, what are we doing? Now it's Ricky Shane Page and Nick Gage joining forces. If you recall, I believe it was Nick Gage took the GCW World Championship from Ricky Shane Page. Ricky Shane Page, if you don't know who this is, RSP. He had a match on AEW Dark, by the way, which was cool. But he, as a heel, you want to hate a motherfucker. You can hate this guy. Oh, he has a face that you want to fucking drive your knuckle through his eye socket. He is a motherfucker. And so is his group, right? That Addison Cougar was in that group. And these motherfuckers, goddamn, I get angry just thinking about them. They're so fucking, they're great because I want to fucking hurt them. And to your point, Matt Cardona, the thing that I liked about the whole match is how he went from, hey, side headlock, hip toss, 1-2, kick out, to then like, I'm going to throw my first light tube. And he doesn't throw it fucking well. He does the like half-ass, and then everyone's
he
like,
did the WWE like, hitting somebody with it.
Yeah. Well, and then he kind of looks around. He's like, well, I've never done that. And then it gets a little bit more and a little bit more to the point where you described is he's like, I want out. And they're like, no, you're not getting
too bad.
This.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, fuck me. And gets in there. I love the spot with the action figures where he had an action figure set up, why? It was just so fun. I believe there was even an action figure thrown at him when he won. Like someone picked up an action figure and threw at him.
They threw everything in this place.
It was, he had
to use the title to shield himself. It was insane.
It's so much fun because now we got some stories to tell. Because one, where does Nick Gage go? Does he go after Ricky Shane Page? Because that's the guy who fucked him out of this because he had the victory until then. Or does he say, fuck you, Nick Gage or Matt Cardona, I want to get after you again? Or do they do a triple threat because Ricky Shane Page?
Cardona's going to be around for a while. It seems he's selling this thing like, I'm going to be their champ. He went on Busted Open. He was like, no, I'm going to like help this company become better. Like he's selling it like a heel, right? He's like, I'm going to become, I'm going to still make this company better. Oh.
Yeah, let's talk about the post-match where he takes the fucking GCW championship to Disney World.
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious, man?
Yes.
Oh, it's so great. It was so great. God.
Yeah, he tweeted, he's like, I'm staying in a very expensive hotel with a very expensive fucking
and he had to give the title a deep wash because he doesn't know where it's been, and he's holding it up like next to Mickey Mouse and shit. It was just, he's the perfect champion for that fucking promotion right now.
Oh, God.
Oh God!
GCW is taking the wrestling world by storm, and it's just off the backs of this. It is an honest fervor. They've done some amazing storytelling to get this crowd so hype that they literally might have killed Matt Cardona if given the option.
Yeah, I'm already fantasy booking in my head matchups that I want to see. Right, so what I want to see, because I've seen 2 victories at their last 2 pay-per-views from, again, what I viewed, is I want to see Nick Gage go up against Ricky Shane Page again, and I want Matt Cardona in his first title defense to go up against AJ Gray.
Yeah.
Like, that's the fucking match.
And you can catch all this on Fight TV. It's what, $5 a month? Something like that, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, the pay-per-views, I think, are like $12 to $15,
okay.
Which, I mean, I'm not trying to downplay, like, that's
still
not
cheap,
expensive.
right.
Well, but it's cheap in comparison to an AEW pay-per-view, which is like $50. But if you don't have the money, then, talk to Tim. He'll figure out how you can see it.
You can always watch pro wrestling somewhere, right?
Yeah.
.com, something. I don't know, watch pro wrestling.
Yeah.
If you want to.
There it is. So I'm just excited to see what the next step is with this promotion. I'm hooked in. Like I said, I got the MDK shirt because I was hooked with the GCW. And then when he does the promo on Dynamite before the match, I was like, I fucking love this guy. And just when he walked out, I'm like, gotta get a shirt. I gotta rep this guy. He's my favorite right now.
That crowd.
MDK all fucking day.
That's the weirdest thing is that he had to fight the crowd to get through, but it was because they wanted to love this guy so much.
Yeah.
And it was an aggressive love. It was like you motherfucker, let me hug you, you son of a bitch. It was the weirdest thing I'd ever seen. They were mauling him to just touch him. It was so crazy. I thought grown men were trying to kiss him on the lips. Like, it was insane.
Maybe they were.
And they were.
Yeah,
I think they were. Yeah. And not it. Like, I think they were just like, come here. Like, you're my fucking hero. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. Just the entrances alone. That's all I showed my son was the dichotomy of the entrances, and then I was like, okay, watch when he wins this match. And it's like, first of all, remember the entrance I showed you? See his outfit? All right, here's he winning the match. He goes, Jesus Christ, it doesn't even look like he has a shirt on. I was like, yeah. And then the heat from that crowd. I was just like, that crowd is like nothing I've ever seen.
Yeah, and if you want a really cool video to watch, go to Effie's Twitter account, and he shows the backstage run-up that Nick Gage takes to get into the crowd. He takes like a 15-yard sprint to then get into the fucking mob of people.
He's got to get a fucking forced head start. They literally were shoving him back. Like, no, you're staying with us. You're staying in the crowd with us.
And another great little note that I loved about this match is how the ring announcer, who I don't know who that is, because the last time I saw it was Kevin Gill.
Yeah.
But how Matt Cardona was like, you fucking Mark, because then he puts on the ski mask and he's like, represent, East Block.
Well, because I love, at first he's like, it's Matt Cardona. Like, he's just like, fuck this guy.
It was, like, everyone hated that guy. And
there was a fucking
great.
like 6-year-old in the crowd with a ski mask on.
Yeah.
There for Nick Gage. I was like, why is this kid in a ski mask? They had a foam pizza cutter. Like, God damn it. Fuck. You would never, you could never, without pro wrestling, show somebody a picture of Nick Gage, full smiling, and be like, this is the guy that like 2,000 people in a casino hall were ready to die for. We're ready to fucking kill another human being for.
Yeah. I mean, what month are we in? We're in July going into August. I got to say, the spectacle of the year so far is Nick Gage versus Matt Cardona.
Insane. And it was,
incredible.
again, the 1,500 people in a casino fucking like conference room.
Yeah.
Insane.
Love
and it was the pro wrestling event of the year. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely love it. Now, let's talk about the pro wrestling event that was not the event of the year. I went to Monday Night
Live
Raw
in
this past
person.
Monday. Live
in Kansas
person.
City. I refuse to go. So, okay. So here's a fun backstory. My wife's going on a trip this weekend, right? She's out of town. They're going to like a festival in Utah. And I was like, God damn it. I was, throwing a snide, it wasn't actually me. Like we were fucking around with each other. And I was like, yeah, going on another goddamn trip again. Going to go have fun without me and that kind of thing. And she was like, well, I just started a new job for anybody. So I couldn't go on. Like I would have gone on this trip. But I was like, Tom's mentioned we got to go on a pro wrestling trip again. And she was like, well, I thought you guys were going to go to WrestleMania. Like it's in Hollywood in a couple years. And I was like, no, I refuse. I was like, I'm not going to fucking pay anymore. Ever. Like I'm not going to do it. And I was like, if they're better by that time, maybe.
Of course. Right. Yeah, of course.
But I'd rather go watch this. I'd rather go watch GCW than that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I went to Monday Night Raw. Now, the reason I went is because I think I've said this on the podcast before, but my wife is like, hey, these shows are too long. I'm not that interested. So I don't want to go, but I will have my brother go in my place. And he's a fan in the sense of he likes bodybuilding. So like Braun Strowman was his guy because Braun Strowman's the biggest fucking guy, on the roster and all that fun stuff. Right. So he's like, yeah, I'll go. And so this time around, because we were opening back up, he's like, I got to get out of the house. He has 2 new kids. One's an infant, one's 2 years old. So he's like, hey, this is an excuse to get me out of the house. Do you want to go? And I was like, well, fuck, no, not really. He's like, well, I have a guy at work who's a huge Fast and Furious fan. He just saw the newest one. It has John Cena. Like he'd like to see John Cena. And he saw that the Summer of Cena had John Cena. So I was like, you know what? I haven't been to a wrestling show before the pandemic. John Cena is going to be there. If you saw last week, you saw John Cena and Goldberg and a title change. So I was like, you know what? Let's give it a shot, right? Like, okay, right? Maybe we're captivating on that momentum to give us some more fun shit. And Tim, God bless America, I will tell you, it was one of the most boring experiences I've had in my fucking life. This is what I don't get, Tim. This is what I don't get. You had, again, I don't know how long the pandemic has been happening because now it just feels like it's always been this way. But like you had 18 months, let's say, to like try some things, to get to a point where you're like, we're going to retool the live experience. And Tim, you still have fucking people making their entrances before the commercial break. And then during the commercial break, they tried this new thing where it's like, show us your Undertaker face. So it's little kids, rolling their eyes back, or show us your Hulk Hogan pose and all that. But then you have like Charlotte standing there and it doesn't make any fucking sense. It's so stupid.
Like that aside, the format of how they do,
the format is insulting
versus that is, even as we discuss any of the content here, which again, we're not going to go line by line like we did with Dynamite or anything like that. But like, I'm upset that WWE's also a little bit enabled and encouraged by some of these fans in attendance. Like, why is anybody, I want to talk to the people who are genuinely excited about the Nikki ASH character. That's an adult. Like, I'm looking at a picture right now. There's adults cheering for this shit. And I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. Like, I need somebody to tell me what was said or done in this storyline that registered with them that made me be like, that gave me a smile. Because I don't get it. Not with that. Not with Damian Priest and Sheamus. Not with the fucking tag team title match. Not with fucking Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal Light. Not fucking, you know what I mean? The fucking Alexa Bliss shit. Keith Lee was on the goddamn show, like, with Karrion Kross. Like, I just don't get what they're doing. I don't get, like, none of this is, like, good storytelling. Maybe the Mustafa Ali story is some good storytelling.
No.
But
I'll tell you what was.
It's mid-grade shit.
So I'll tell you from being there, Nikki got a very, hey, that's fun. Like, okay. But when Charlotte came out, everyone was like, boo. She got the louder reaction just from boos than Nikki did. Charlotte is the story in this. Like she says, she's the opportunity. She's the figurehead in this storyline. Matt Riddle was over. Matt Riddle was way over.
Yeah, he's over.
You know who else was really over in Kansas City? AJ Styles. There was like 6 different AJ Styles chants. And when Amos came out, and let me say this. Yeah, I get the Amos thing. When he walked out, I legitimately just looked at my brother-in-law. I was like, the fuck? And he's like, oh, this is my guy. Like, my brother-in-law is like, okay, so this is going to be my favorite wrestler. I like this guy. He's huge. So, like, the tag team needs to go babyface because they were getting all the cheers. But then, obviously, the number one cheer was John Cena when he came out. That made sense. Whatever. But Nikki was at best, and it only got worse. So she does that backstage segment with Rhea Ripley. They cheered Rhea Ripley more than they cheered Nikki. And then when Nikki loses and then does her promo where she's like, I almost beat ya, everyone was like, well, then fuck off. Like, people were like, this is dumb. And then John Cena comes out after the show and just kind of like scoots her out of the ring, and no one paid attention to Nikki because Nikki was like doing her like this stuff, and we're like, nope, we're all John Cena now. But Nikki is below grade, and hey, you're learning, right? You tried something, it didn't work. But the reactions of the night, John Cena 1, Matt Riddle 2, AJ number 3. There were some moments though. For example, Damian Priest and Sheamus. Sheamus's mask legitimately broke. And so it became this whole thing during the commercial break of him trying to put it back on to where the ref was helping him. And we're like, fuck you, don't do that, you asshole. You know, obviously not cussing, but like, you can't help him, you're the ref, you know? And then the other fun thing was Eva Marie's top legitimately broke. It ripped off. And so she was clutching her armpits together to keep her top on, and everyone was like, tag her in. You know, no.
Yeah, you got to fuck with that, right? Yeah. That happened to Carmella recently too. I saw online.
Well, they're wearing too tight of stuff to be fucking doing athletics in.
Yeah.
Dum-dums.
Wear a one piece if you're doing actual athletics, you know?
Yeah, just wear sports bras or it's just something more sports athletic like. But anyhow, it was boring. Again, I hate the format. To the point where the guy that never been to a wrestling show who just wanted to see John Cena, when Matt Riddle comes out, after they do Matt Riddle, his entrance, he stands in the dark for 30 seconds, and then they do the show us your Hulk Hogan, and Matt Riddle's playing along. But my friend, or, you know, my brother-in-law's friend was like, hey, if he's ready for a fight, like, why would he care about this? And I was like, well, he's in the ring.
Now he, you know, the side from him is that he's an idiot and he's, but he's like goofy. So sure, you get Riddle, but everybody else is,
Drew McIntyre was doing the same thing when they were doing Undertaker eyes. He was having fun with that. And it's like, I thought he hates Jinder Mahal. And I was like, well, he does, but like, it makes no fucking sense. It's the same tired ass thing with no one over. That's what's insulting. Is no one's over to be doing that shitty of a show. It's fucking bad.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and nothing stuck out to me from like a storyline perspective. Like we're just
Charlotte beats her, and then laughs at her, and then Nikki's like, "I almost got you," and then so I'll challenge you again, and Charlotte's like, "Of course, you loser." I'll beat you. I just beat you easy this time. I'll beat you again. She didn't even cheat to beat Nikki.
Yeah.
What in the fuck are you doing with your champion?
Yeah.
Becky has to come back.
That was non-title?
Right? It was non-title.
Why was it non-title?
Well, it's this stupid fucking concept of championship contenders match. That's why Damian Priest beat Sheamus, who's the United States champion. That's why Charlotte beat Nikki, who's the women's champion. Why the fuck are you pitting your champions in non-title matches?
But I
it
thought
makes zero sense.
she would have a title rematch. Oh, but they don't do rematch clauses anymore, right?
Fucking dumb. It's bad. And here, let's talk real quick. Let's break kayfabe for a quick second. There was a WWE earnings call or whatever the fuck, quarterly call, right, with media and stuff.
Yeah.
The line of the conference that I'm reading on Twitter from various people is that Vince McMahon doesn't consider AEW competition like he does Ted Turner back in the day. And he said, I don't understand how I'm paraphrasing here, but essentially, I don't know how they're paying their wrestlers. Hey, maybe we can give them some more, which is stupid on two fronts. And I'll explain why. One, you just casually said like, hey, let's just fire some more people that we currently contract. Isn't that going to be funny? Which is fucking mean and rude. And two, why are you acting like the Khan family isn't 5 times richer than you?
Yeah. Tony Khan himself has more money than.
Well, Shad Khan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shad Khan owns the Jacksonville Jags and a English Premier Soccer League. This is just fun stuff for him. He has a yacht bigger than your fucking corporation headquarters. I'm not saying Vince is poor by any stretch of the imagination, but like the Khan family is a different level than you, motherfucker. Why are you acting like they ain't got money? He's just as rich as Ted Turner was.
If
back
your
then.
company had to sell suddenly, like they would be the one to buy it. Like that's how.
Yeah, this guy, the Khan family. I know Tony Khan.
They could do it in cash probably by the end of the day.
And let's be honest, I know Tony Khan runs it, but it's really his dad's money, which he even said, right? But like, the Khan family has just as much money as Ted Turner did in the 90s. So why you just dismiss them as if they don't have any financial backing makes no fucking sense.
For the image of it.
Well,
it's for the image of it for people who don't know any better. Yep.
God, you dumb fuck. God, you dumb fuck.
That's the way he's always been, though. It's about the image of himself and shit. So anyway, SmackDown, interesting play at the end with Finn Balor. You know what I mean? I don't know where they're going.
Well, I think that's going to get at least Roman Reigns and John Cena a collision course without having to do rinse and repeat every single week. So I think Finn Balor is going to either do a match on SmackDown and lose, and then Roman will be like, see, you're just like that loser missionary John Cena, which that was a fun line. Said John Cena hasn't changed. He's just like missionary sex all night or every night. Best
line.
Thought that was good.
I love it because he's like, oh.
Yeah. Which he's not wrong. John Cena legitimately hasn't changed anything except for his age.
Well, you're saying like missionary position's terrible every night. You're like, he's not wrong.
Yeah, that too. Right? But yeah, he's not wrong on that either. But like, John Cena nothing has changed.
Yeah, nothing has changed.
The biggest criticism about him is nothing. He's been the same guy since 05.
Yeah. Edge and Seth Rollins continue their stuff. Seth Rollins is putting in amazing work, but it just still feels kind of hollow. I don't know.
Here's the thing I'll say about Edge. I think at one point we were like, what would be fucking cool is if Edge came back. And Edge came back and we're like, it's not that fucking cool.
Maybe it ain't that cool.
But here's why I say that. I think babyface Edge where you gotta have grit and I got crazy eyes, that was never the fucking Edge that got over.
Right.
Remember when Edge tried to take out each member of Evolution and everyone was like, no, get the fuck out of here. Rated R superstar Edge is the one that got over. That's the Edge that needs to be beaten up John Cena or, babyface Big E. That's the guy we like.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. What happened on NXT? Anything cool? Oh, Samoa Joe's going to wrestle now.
Well, but we knew that, right?
Yeah, we knew that.
But here's the thing. You fucked yourself in the foot because you said Karrion Kross is your big, bad, undefeated champion. So he's going to face the main roster Samoa Joe. But Karrion Kross can't even beat Jeff Hardy in 2 minutes. And his only victory is Keith Lee, who's the NXT guy. So he hasn't proven that he can beat a fucking main roster guy. So why would we think he could beat Samoa Joe?
You fucked yourself in the foot is another great.
Fucked yourself in the foot.
episode title contender. Dakota Kai turned on Raquel Gonzalez. Think we're getting Dakota Kai winning the title?
I don't know about that, but Raquel sold that kick to the face really well. She fell like a sack of shit.
I don't see anybody sell a kick like that since Fuego del Sol.
Yeah.
Actually, it was the other way around. Yeah. Imperium getting the win over Hit Row. I don't know that I love Hit Row.
No. Yeah. Hit Row should be the coolest fucking people. They should be what the Elite are in AEW, where not necessarily heels, but like, you know how fucking cool we are? We're going to rap as we walk to the ring or do something.
We're going to
like
make
that.
light of everything you are about because we're cooler than that.
Exactly.
Yes.
They need to be that, not be losing to fucking stiffs from England.
And then we're really going to try. We're really going to try really hard this time to light that Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole feud and get it going. We're really going to give it a strong go this time.
I mean, what other match can they do?
Yeah.
Because again,
well,
it's going to be
Thick Boy's leaving,
fun.
I guess, right? Thick Boy's going to go up to main roster, it seems like.
Why, and lose to fucking Cedric Alexander?
Yeah.
Yep. Fuck.
That's exactly right. Yep. No, lose to, the Uso won. Uso won.
But my thing with the O'Reilly and Cole match is it's gonna be fun. Like the night of, if you were to have like if I were to have my brother-in-law watch that one, yeah. If I show that to my brother-in-law, he's like, I want to see more of that. I'm like, well, you have.
No, you don't.
Like,
yeah,
we have. You don't want to go back. I just don't know what
you want
else
to see
they
more
can
of it,
do.
but you don't want to see the more of it that they've already done.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think they thought they had, because they did. They had magic in a bottle with Gargano and Ciampa, and they think, hey, let's just use that same formula, but this one doesn't hit like that one did.
So, all right. So let's sum up this week. If I told you at the very start of coronavirus, the NBA shuts down, WWE pulls out of crowds, right? Like they're doing all that stuff. If I said, hey, when we come out of this, well, not that we're out of it, if we start doing crowds again.
We're going back.
In summer of, wear your fucking mask. In summer of 2021, the main event of the weekend is going to be Zack Ryder against a guy who robbed a bank with like half a front tooth in a fucking casino 1,200 seat venue. He's going to be the talk of wrestling.
And he's not even on real pay-per-view. It's on an app pay-per-view.
Yeah, like I said, on Fight TV would have been the talk of the town. You wouldn't have bought it. The world is strange.
MDK all motherfucking day.
So buy her shirt, buy our shirts, which you can find the link to the shop now at SpanishDownsTable.net. It's on Zazzle.com, but you just go to SpanishDownsTable.net. You see the shop now button. Buy our stuff and tune in next week. And hot damn, I don't know. I feel like some pizza. What do you think?
Yeah, let's get some pizza cutters.
The Spanish announce table.